Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Being on Stage, the only podcast that gives you motivation, inspiration, and confidence to be better on stage. No matter how you entertain, sing, dance, band, comedian, public speaking, MC, drag, burlesque, performance art, or street performer, this is the show for you. Hey rock stars, Reggie Dawson here, your host of the Being on Stage podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back. And it has been longer than usual between podcast episodes, so a little bit of an apology here for you. I apologize about that. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment and really dive into what today's message is all about, and it kind of involves what's been going on for the last 9 days or so, actually for the past couple of weeks. So I'm going to dive into that in a minute, but first and foremost, thank you so much for everybody who has subscribed on iTunes. If you could also head over and leave a rating and a comment, I greatly appreciate it. Helps other people find the show, and you know, it really helps me out and makes me feel good about what I'm doing. A little bit of humility there for you. I apologize. Someone once told me I apologize too much, and I think they're probably right. But getting into today, so it's been 9 or 10 days since I did a podcast, and it's much longer than usual. I try to cap it, but I try to do a podcast every 3 to 4 days or so, sometimes as high as 5. But, you know, recently I've also been expanding the things that I want to do and the things that I want to accomplish as a performer. And, you know, part of doing this podcast, yeah, I want to help other performers, but I also want to keep growing, my own art and everything. And I recently went through a change of what I'm doing and kind of a different angle. You know, I'm settling down with the family. I'm not living the bachelor style life anymore. So, you know, the nightlife and the clubbing and the staying out till 3 a.m., it's not really where I'm at, but I'm also not at the point where I want to give it up. Like, I don't want to give up being on stage. No pun intended. Okay, the pun was a little intended. But I don't want to give up performing. So I've kind of had to switch it up a little bit. So instead of being more of a performance artist and lip sync artist and dancer in the nightclubs, I'm switching it up and being more of like a festival style MC and host. Because, I mean, it's obvious I have a podcast. I like to talk. But I also like engaging the crowd and bringing people in and making them excited about what's going on. And I've, dabbled in hosting and emceeing for a while. So part of the last 2 weeks, I landed a pretty cool gig at this new festival that's coming up at our local fairgrounds. It's like a dog fundraiser, but with a Halloween twist. So it's called Barktoberfest. It's really cool. It's really interesting. And because I've had experience, putting together festivals in the past with the nonprofit that I work with and working with festival entertainment and, marketing and promotion and bringing in, people to help with stuff, I kind of volunteered myself, I guess, to help a little bit with the event. And in doing so, I also learned that I really enjoy kind of like helping organizations, market their event better and just improve the overall event and kind of bring it up a couple of levels, especially if it's their first or second time putting on large events. And this happens to be their first time doing a large event like this. So it's kind of really cool that I get to use things that I've picked up and learned over the years, both with performing and with working with a nonprofit organization and with festival, putting together festivals. It's kind of cool taking what I've learned in all those areas and helping someone else and kind of guiding them along the way. And over the weekend, and I swear I've been trying to do this podcast for like 5 days, but part of what's been distracting me, roadblocking me, is, I've been helping and working on this event. It's coming up this Saturday, October 27th. And it's a good kind of distraction, though. It's not like I'm putting off the podcast, and it's not like I'm choosing something over the podcast. I ran into some roadblocks with Facebook ads. If you've ever worked with Facebook ads, you know the headache that I'm talking about. If you haven't, maybe one day I'll have to teach you, because it's really cool what you can do with them and the people that you can reach. So it's really, really cool. But it's a pain in the neck when you're learning it, and I'm still learning it. And there's a course I can take and everything, but I believe that you can learn everything you need to know about life and skills on YouTube. So that's kind of how I've learned a little bit about Facebook ads. That, and I call it the click button method. It's click the button and see what happens. So that's a surefire method to learn something. It just takes a while, which is kind of my preferred method of learning. It's learn by experience. Click button, see what happens. So anyways, I've learned that I really enjoy helping these organizations. I just had a few setbacks, a few roadblocks, a few distractions. And that's kind of today's message, really, is recognizing that human nature in all of us, as human beings. And performing is great. Don't get me wrong. This podcast is all about being on stage, but it's also about the performer. And as performers, we're still human. We're going to get distracted. We're going to have periods of time where we're not as motivated and we're not as driven towards one goal as we are another one. And that's I love this podcast. I love what I do, but I found another avenue that I also want to go with, with working with performers. I also want to expand my own performing into, not just emceeing, but also helping to market events. Who knows where this could lead. I'll forever do this podcast. I'll forever help performers, but we also have to, as we're also helping others, we still need to help ourselves. And that's kind of where I've been lately, is trying to help myself a little bit. And I'm not asking for forgiveness, and I'm not really apologizing for it. I'm just being real with you and telling you what's up. But that is who we are. We're still human. We're going to develop other interests as we go. This interest just kind of fell into my lap. I didn't plan for this. I didn't write a business plan for, Facebook marketing, nonprofit fundraisers, but it happened, and I found out that I'm pretty good at it, and I feel appreciated. And so helping other people in any capacity, you feel appreciated. You feel really good about yourself, but sometimes you also learn that there's another interest. So I want to also encourage you, stay motivated in your performing. Stay pushing yourself to what you want to do. I'll stay coaching performers. I'll stay helping performers. But I'm also a performer myself, and we all got to keep growing. We all have to keep expanding our interests and keep expanding what we do. Performing on stage is great, but what else can you do? You have to have other interests, because if your only focus is performing, and that is the only thing you're doing, eat, sleep, breathe, you're not doing anything else, you don't have any other passions, any other goals, any other things that you enjoy, you're not living a full life. And as much as I want you to be an amazing performer, and I want you to, succeed on stage and leave your legacy out there and turn your audience into fans. You guys hear the spiel every single episode. I also want you to enjoy life. You have to have other passions as well. And yes, this podcast is performing on stage. It's being on stage. It's all about performing. But part of performing is still living your life and still having other passions that, enhance your life. Not stuff that holds you back, not binging Netflix, not, eating chips on the couch. That's not a passion. I'm talking, I'm now finding out that I enjoy marketing nonprofit fundraisers. That's going to become a new passion of mine. I'm always going to love helping performers. I'm always going to keep coaching, and I'm always going to keep emceeing, and I'm always going to keep performing. But now I have this new line of passion, I guess, a new line of passion, I also have this little crafting thing I've been doing with my daughter. We just had our first craft sale last Saturday. We made $25. I mean, it wasn't anything big. Our items were only $5 to $10, but she learned a little bit about business, and she learned about, actually we learned a little bit about merchandising with how you set up your table with your crafts. And, we made a little money off stuff that we worked to make. And so she learned the value of hard work. We split it in thirds, third for her, third for the business, third for me. She made about $9. I rounded up. So she was really happy with the day, and, these are other things that I've gotten passionate about. I've gotten passionate about having this little tiny crafting business with my daughter that we're going to make $20 to $30 a month on. I've gotten passionate about helping nonprofit organizations increase the reach and market their fundraiser. I've gotten passionate about emceeing at festivals and being in front of crowds. I've gotten passionate about coaching other performers to improve their stage performance, their presence, and their confidence on stage. I've got passionate about podcasting. I've got passionate about helping everybody I know discover their passion. That is who I am through and through, and I am passionate about each and every avenue of what I want to do. But the point I'm trying to make here is, if you keep following one road, what if it doesn't go on forever? I mean, what if eventually that road ends? Yes, there's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be speed bumps. There's going to be, accidents on the side. There's going to be, obstacles. But what if that road ends? What else can you do? And I don't want to talk about the end, and I'm not trying to get all depressed. And, I'm not saying that your road's going to end. What I'm saying is, what else are you passionate about? What else are you doing in your life? What else are you trying out? Even if it's other types of performing, and you should be experimenting with other types of performing. I'm going to talk about that in a couple episodes. But what I really wanted to get into today is, you need to be more than a performer. Not just that you are. Like, yes, we're mothers, we're fathers, we're daughters, we're sons, we're nieces, we're nephews, we're aunts, we're uncles, we're humans, we're teachers, we're students, we're warriors, we're princesses, we're everything. We are human beings, but we're also human. And in that, as humans, we need to have multiple enjoyments in our life, not just one sole mission, because it's going to drag you down. It's going to burn you out. So find other things to be passionate as well. Don't stop what you're doing. Enhance what you're doing with other interests and other passions. Be interested in everything around you. Be interested in other passions. Keep moving forward as performers, but allow yourself to be human. And I thank you for allowing me to be human. So I'm going to be doing this podcast more frequently. I know I've said this before, but I'm telling you guys, again, we all go through periods in our lives where we have other passions, we have distractions, we have things that are going to, interest us. I'm always here for you. You can send me an email, reggie@beingonstage.com. I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Well, I'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. I'd love to see you guys. Maybe one day we'll do an event and everyone will have to get together. Anyways, I will talk to you guys in a couple of days. There'll be another podcast dropping here probably later on this week. So look forward to that. If you're not sure how to find it, you can go to iTunes and subscribe. You can also go to our Facebook group, the Being on Stage group. I go in there a little bit after each podcast, so you kind of have an idea of when it's going to hit. Plus, in the Facebook group, I just started doing Motivation Mondays. So every Monday, I'm sharing a video or a song that really, really gets me. Like, I'm motivated by music. I like the lyrics of a song. Like, I am motivated by words and by lyrics, and so I share with you what has motivated me over the years and gotten me through some tough times, pushed me beyond my limits, and just overall still to this day make me want to be a better performer and a better person. So I'm sharing that in the Being on Stage group. You can get there by going to beingonstage.com/group. I look forward to hearing you in any capacity. Thank you again for tuning in, and as always, keep on shining.